Let's talk about Transformers.
Hey,
So I saw,
let's transform the topic. Let's transform the topic.
That's better.
Hi.
Use take 2.
Let's go. Let's go
Hey, will you
to the stars and talk about Transformers.
Can you do it? I want to see if you can do the Transformers. Why is yours shorter?
That was the cart. What are you doing with
You want to do it together?
No.
Come on. I just do my own thing. So anyway, we're going to be talking about Transformers 1.
Megatron.
Megatron is a little bitch.
Megatron.
I will say this.
Till all are one. What do you want?
Wait.
Fuck you.
Is Optimus a QAnoner?
There's a basement in the pizza place.
Mr. Witwicky, you need to understand. Ping Pong Pizza has the all-smart cube.
I have to blow up that pizza place to get to its basement. We don't have a fucking basement, you crazy fucking
It contains a laptop.
That's not what I heard on Newsmax.
It contains a laptop with files you cannot believe that Megatron has.
The dark web has all the answers. I am corrupted.
Don't order a hot dog.
Hey, we're going back to AI. Yeah. So first things first, I went to Transformers the last Sunday.
Transformers Uno.
1 with my brother. And here's the great thing is I think that was the first time he saw it too. But I probably wouldn't have seen it unless he suggested it because it was for my birthday. He's like, let's go to a movie. And I went after the Vikings game. Vikings are 4-0, baby. And I went to the movie. Hang on. So I went to the movie last Sunday, and I really, really liked it. And I don't have a real job right now. I have a very, very part-time job, which I love, but I have time. And Jake happened to have Friday off, so I went and saw Transformers 1 with him at 9:30 in the morning, which turned into 10:30 in the morning. That was a whole thing.
Well, that's a horror story in and of itself.
We will talk about it in our OPOR segment. Do you have that? We don't need the sounder.
Yeah,
because it's not.
But
really,
anyway, so
it's not technically.
This is you before seeing the movie with your brother.
My brother. Yeah, because I didn't. I usually like to ask him questions because I know he reads more about stuff and whatnot. So, I figured he knew more about it than I did.
Oh,
so
I gotta say, this was the most perfect timing I ever could have had.
We'll get to that, sir.
Well, I know, but I was just gonna say that like. When you told me about it, because I knew that movie was coming out, so I knew it was coming, but I really didn't have any plans.
I kept seeing like things, and occasionally I'd see previews and whatever. But to me, it was like I mean, I still haven't seen Bumblebee or Rise of the Beast.
Ooh, they're both good.
I am aware of that, but I will talk about in this why I haven't consumed too much Transformers.
But I will just say for me, on my side of it, it was just perfect timing where I finally got my hands because my local library, shout out to libraries.
So sick of you talking about fucking library.
We need to read, damn it.
We need to possess the books and pay for them.
I picked up the brand new Transformers by
more trees felled so we can print more books.
Exactly. So I picked up Daniel Warren Johnson's volume 1 of Transformers. Nice. So it was just perfect timing where I was reading that, and then you're like, "Do you want to see this?" I was like, "Oh yeah, shit, I'm into it."
So before we saw it last Sunday, here's what me and my brother said. Right, off-panel, off-road. Me and Carter, my brother, are at Transformers 1. And one thing
fucking Maria Menounos in the background
wondering about that I want to know, I don't know much about this movie. You know, like the Transformers that we grew up with is what technically called what? It's called something. That cartoon is G1, right? Okay.
Generation 1.
Is this like the origin for Generation 1, or is there some of the IDW comics? I know there's like different.
I think it's a separate continuity, but
okay. So we think it's a fresh.
Yeah, but I mean it follows a lot of. I think.
Yeah.
A lot of the beats that come from everything before.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Because I'm just really curious. Like, I mean, obviously, I see RC.
We're gonna get fucking copyright striked.
I didn't really see too many Decepticons, or didn't recognize anybody. Maybe I don't know.
I think we get kind of a look at the origins of like a lot of things. beyond just the characters.
The matrix of leadership, perhaps. Maybe we'll see. What was that one guy? The guy with the beard. They went back in time. Remember, he's the guy who made Prime. I believe I'm talking about Alpha Trion. Maybe. Go ahead. Yeah, he's the guy with the beard.
Ryan Pax.
Yes, maybe.
Ryan Pax is.
He was like a guy, but they went back in time.
He's Optimus Prime's original form.
Okay, Ryan Pax. Right. But the guy who made him, they made a renew figure of
action
figure of him. Anyway, but cool. So we're gonna watch this, and I'll give a report next week. All right, peace.
Yep.
That music was horrible. I don't know what it was. So yeah. So I believe I'm talking about Alpha Trion.
I turned my mic.
I believe I'm talking about Alpha Trion.
All right, we get it. You know things.
Oh, did I say it yet? I don't know if was my mic not turned up.
I think you
know.
said Alpha Trion like 4 times.
Alpha Trion. But he's in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was the first. So you were seeing it the second time with me. Did you think anything differently the second time?
I
or noticed anything? I didn't pick up on that.
The one thing, no, I pretty much caught most of it during the first one. There's not like most of what I did the second time was just kind of try and see if I could catch more cameos in the background. Because there's so many shots with like shitloads of robots, and like you're like, oh man, there's Wheeljack and there's Cliffjumper and there's Ironhide and there's fucking.
Well, I was gonna add on to that and say the most appealing thing to me about this going in was the fact that like, okay, we're actually going to spend time on Cybertron. We've never really been on Cybertron,
right?
And so I don't know. Did they go to Cybertron a ton in the show? I never really watched it as much.
There's if I'm not mistaken, there's technically I think 3 seasons of the original G1. I think it's called.
Yeah.
I think if I'm not mistaken. Now, when I was a kid, right after the Transformers movie came out in theaters, they built off of that in the cartoon. So when that next season came out, it was all like, hey, starring Hot Rod or Rodimus Prime, and I'm Cup, and like they had, those were the characters. Optimus Prime was still dead. There was actually an entire like 3 or 4 part series called the Rebirth of Optimus Prime or whatever, because they brought him back. And then there's an episode where they go all the way back, and it's like 2 or 3, or it's the aerial bots, whatever, but they're all planes. And then they go back in time, and they meet Alpha Trion and Orion Pax and Elita 1. And I believe Elita 1 turns into RC, and of course, Orion Pax becomes Optimus Prime. But it's a really interesting episode, because if I remember correctly, the animation sucks. But they made a reaction action figure, those new ones where it's just like, basically 4 points of articulation. They're like the old Star Wars. And they made an action figure of him. And Alpha Trion is one of the main characters, sort of, in Transformers 1. He's got a big part in the evolution of the Transformers.
Well, I think, before we get into
what are we doing
whole
here?
Friday experience, I think for me it was the idea of like, okay, we're going to try something new. We're going to stay on Cybertron and kind of explain the opposition between Megatron and Optimus, because we always, no matter what, whether it's the cartoon, the comic books, the Michael Bay movies, it doesn't matter. They all start at the same point. It's Optimus and Megatron tear up Cybertron, and they have to go to Earth because they have nowhere to go. Their planet's destroyed.
Right. So one real
so we
thing.
never really saw before that.
Yes. One real quick thing. I thought I explained in that the Michael Bay movie. Carter got me one of those. It was when the movie first came out on DVD, the first Michael Bay movie, and it was a transformable box. And you could transform the box, and it came in a clear plastic.
Oh, that's cool.
Into a Optimus Prime. That's cool. And then the DVD was in his back or whatever. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. I think I still have it somewhere. But those movies fucking traumatized me. I'm serious, dude. I'm serious.
The only reason I went to see Transformers 1 is, like I said, my brother suggested it, and it was so good.
Yeah.
I liked it so much that I was like, dude, I think you need to see it. And if you're going to go, I'll go see it again, you know.
Yeah.
I've had many times where my brother
Yeah.
was like, I'll go see it again if you haven't seen it. And it's like, sweet.
Yeah, I never. Again, it looked interesting. It seemed interesting, but it was never something that I was, intending to see in a theater. And it was the first time we were going to have Optimus without Peter Cullen. And I'll tell you, it's hard because it's just hard. No, and I want to be clear. Chris Hemsworth does a great job.
Yeah.
I'm not taking away from his performance. I was just saying, going in, it was hard because I'll tell you, as I was reading that Transformers book, even when I was reading it in the panels, and this never happens, even as I was reading it in the panels, I was hearing his voice. I was hearing Peter Cullen.
I got to be really honest. I'm always going to hear Peter Cullen's voice if I'm reading a comic with Optimus Prime in it.
Oh, yeah. You're just always going to hear it because his voice. You know what? This is
really-
my audition for. Look, Peter Cullen's getting up there. All I'm saying is, check this out, Tyler. Smoke. Take that joint and roll it up.
Yeah. Peter Cullen is
Come on, that was funny.
It was okay. I like Peter Cullen a lot. Chris Hemsworth does a great job. That was pretty good.
Do you always have to be so mean?
So,
See, I kind of lost.
one of the things I really, really liked is, like in the comic books, and from what I understand, the cartoon is based off the Marvel comics. And the Marvel comics, they are fighting on Cybertron, and for whatever reason, either Megatron, I can't remember if Megatron's going to Earth to try and conquer it, or if he's just trying to get away, or if Optimus is trying. One way or the other, they both head towards Earth and they crash land.
That's where it always ends. Yeah.
When they get to Earth, they start fighting. And in the comics, and I don't know about I want to say both the comics and the cartoon, they start fighting, and the volcano that their ship crashed in erupts and buries them all in rubble for like 1,000,000 years, because they get to Earth during the time of dinosaurs. That's why there's Dinobots, because at some point the Ark tries to recreate the Transformers into the dominant life form, because it knows all the other Transformers are dead or incapacitated or whatever. I can't remember why why it starts up again, but at some point in the present day, they all wake up. And in the cartoon, I can't remember what the cartoon or the comic books, but I think they both basically say like, "Hey, fuck you, we're out of here." Megatron and his Decepticons, they take off, and then Optimus and his bros, the Autobots, just hang out in the Ark,
Always defending
which is
Earth.
in the side of the volcano.
Yeah. But anyway, we had an adventure
But what happened before that?
before we even saw the movie.
No, I'm saying.
Oh
right.
yeah. But in the what
But
happened?
that's why I really liked this movie, because it gave me a good starting point. And we've talked about this before. Fuck lore, right? I mean, if you if you want to write a story that has that interprets the characters in a way that I think is cool or different and still
or true to the character. Yeah.
right, it's true to the character, but it's different.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I loved that, and it gave us like Iacon City, like that's fucking cool as fuck. Like the whole, we'll get to that.
But
before
I
we
want to
saw
say
the
that
movie.
I want to say that before we get into the spoilers and all that.
Yeah.
And then we kind of talk about my double feature Friday adventure.
Future.
Yeah, double. I don't know why I got weird. That's what we did here.
A little bit.
I told you. I don't know if I told you while we were watching it or I told you afterwards, but I did think while it was happening.
Yeah.
A couple things. You view these movies and you view these characters a little differently as an adult, because I'm like toy.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I get it. That's what these movies have always been. That's like you were like that when you and I were kids. Like it's always been like that. But I'm just sitting there and I'm like, this movie is going to blow my kid's mind. Like, he is not even ready because of the Iacon 5,000.
Right.
500 thing. Like, that was crazy.
5,000. But here's one other thing.
We'll get to that. Before we get to that,
okay,
we also recorded a clip.
I do want to say one other thing, though, is
I'm just kidding.
I grew up when these cartoons and toys first came out, okay? And at no point, even looking back, knowing that they were basically 30-minute commercials for these fucking toys, the fact remains is that there were some very talented people behind these stories. And Peter Cullen and other voice actors that we know, he was in G.I. Joe 2. He was been in tons of shit. All of these people got together behind the scenes, the animators, the writers, the producers, all that shit, and made these characters real to us.
Yeah, they made them three-dimensional.
Right. So, it's really cool to see another way of looking at their beginnings and how they... And, dude, come on. Like, we'll get to the whole Megatron thing, but...
Yeah.
Right, off-panel.
Yeah, here's us.
So, kind of an off-panel, off-road. We are at
popcorn in there.
Transformers 1.
Is this the first
We are
theater?
now almost an hour past the original
second
showtime
theater.
because the theater has decided to stop working now.
It's all technology.
It's all technology. Like, we're totally, like, everybody in this situation is being super cool and everybody's keeping their head. Nobody's pissed.
Yeah,
which-
nobody's being a
What's the
douche.
point in that, right?
I literally have nothing going on today.
I don't
so
either, yeah. So,
but-
I mean, it's totally cool. I feel bad for the people working here. They're like, what the fuck do we do? But hopefully we watch the movie.
we'll see.
I've already seen it, but Jake hasn't, and I really want him to see it because there's some really great jokes, and also it's fucking awesome. So right now we are about, did he say 10:45?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're about
so
20
this is
minutes
second
away.
theater,
We could have 2 cigarettes. I could have had 2 cigarettes.
I don't know.
I'm so sorry. I
Wow.
burped,
How
but
dare you?
I'm eating popcorn and drinking massive
Into the-
amounts of
into
soda.
the
I'm at the
phone,
theater.
into the
What do you
mic.
want me to do? So what else?
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, you're gonna go see Beetlejuice later. Hopefully,
Maybe.
we'll just shut the whole goddamn theater down all day.
Like,
Yeah, it's way more of a thing than we thought. We thought it was just a projector, but it's a whole ball of shit. So
technology never works when you
Yeah.
need it,
yeah, but Jake's gonna attempt a double feature today.
Double feature.
Double feature, going to town to do a double feature because there's no movie theaters in our town.
Wow.
I love it. Fantastic. You know what? I can't wait to talk about this movie.
If we get to see it.
Fucking
You'll
A.
find out.
You'll find
With
out.
us.
On the very next episode of What the Fuck?
So yes, we did see the movie. So the whole thing, real
So
quick.
this is
we're
the-
about a fucking hour in.
Can I just say, by the way, that sucked, but I didn't listen to either one of those before here because I wanted to hear what crazy shit that we came up with. But the guy was so cool. I first of all, there was like 7 of us in the theater,
Let me
and
do
there
a-
was one guy by himself who kept getting up and going to get the
Let me do
guy.
a quick rundown here.
Yeah.
So we get in at 9.
Yeah.
The screening is at 9:30. I picked the earliest screening because I was going to do 2 movies, so I wanted to do it as early as I can.
We sat down about 9:30
I didn't see
after
sunlight.
I peed.
I didn't see sunlight until like 2:30 in the afternoon. So I go to the theater.
Took some vitamin D pills in the morning. Man.
We go to the theater. Go in, 9:30 screening. So 9:30 rolls around, nothing. 9:35 rolls around. That's when that one guy that
This guy in a green shirt gets up and
goes and gets somebody. So then the guy comes in with a laptop to set up the remote because something's going on with the projector.
What-
So
can I ask you something? The other audience members were asking him to do something, and he kept saying no. What was they asked?
there was
him?
a link to. So my understanding is everything's digital. There's not really
right,
reels, right?
right.
So my understanding of it was that he gets like a link to their license that has all the trailers and shit on it that will play, and it just my understanding is it just syncs up and it plays at the time, and it just wasn't syncing up, and the
I
projector.
thought they were asking
whatever.
him to skip the previews, which he did.
He's like, I'll go to the last trailer and then we'll go to the movie. And we're like, all right, cool. So the last trailer plays. Then it's the usual fucking commercials. Okay, let me get here. And by the way, this is going to be, fuck it. This is going to be a long episode. We're an hour in. We got other shit we got to review. I don't care.
Fuck.
Who cares? Point is this. The theater that we are at, and I don't want to name
won't.
anything, but the theater we are at is big locally, and there's a guy that comes on, and I look. Marcus Theaters do these too, and I fucking hate them. They do this like, hey, I own this theater. Thanks for coming. Look at the. But then he does this thing. It's like, I'm so glad you're here. And then it goes like, and look at these coming attractions in September. And it's like, bitch, I know I'm here for one of these movies. Let me see the damn movie. At this point, we've already had technical difficulties, and I got this old guy talking about movies. That plays. The little like Dolby Atmos shit that plays. Shit you not, everybody. Cuts to black, lights go up.
Yep.
So the sync got completely
I
fucked.
forgot about that because I was like, "Oh, fucking sweet, we finally." And
we are there. Black screen. We are there to the movie.
This is my point. I know as far as I know, the movie's about to start. I've already eaten like half my popcorn, but I'm into it now because I'm eating handfuls and drinking. Because I'm
it's coming.
Right, right.
You can't wait to look at my reaction at this movie while you're watching. The anticipation.
So then we had to move to. So then I basically thought they were going to give us a free popcorn, but they didn't because we had to buy new tickets. Or whatever, right?
No, they didn't even give us free tickets. It was just a readmission.
Right. But we had to buy tickets in the new theater for the records and shit. So we had to, choose our seats.
So we had time. So yeah, because they're like, well, can we just go to like the 10:30 showing or whatever? Well, it's actually 10:45.
They suggested.
And like, yeah, you could just go to the 10:45. That's what the guy said. You're like, yeah, we'll just get you some things and we'll just go.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about the popcorn. But we go. So then we go to this other theater, and then Tyler steps outside for a smoke, and I just go join him to talk with him and everything because we got time to kill.
We're just chilling.
And then we come back, and then they're like, "Hey, did you guys hear about what happened? The other guy said again?" We were like, "No, what happened?" They're like, well, there's also not a guarantee that this will work either.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But they gave us like readmission passes so we could come back later in the day or whatever.
Whatever.
But
it worked.
Eventually, it worked.
Long story short, too late.
Yeah, but it's just such a funny experience. Because again, as I was watching Beetlejuice later in the day, that fucking guy showed up again. It was the same exact one again. I was like, damn it, I forgot about this. By the way, the Beetlejuice screening, perfectly fine, no issues.
So let's get Transformers 1. First thing I want to say,
we're not doing like a full
no.
I want to talk about the movie, but we don't have to break everything down. We're already running long. Like we don't have to go.
No, I want to say one thing that I saw in that reinforced the second time I saw it. The animation is fucking gorgeous. Like the way they made like the chrome and metal look and everything, and like the
I wanted to talk about that a lot. Yeah.
So good, right? And like the idea of the cog. Like the cog being taken out, and like just all of it was just such a cool way it's a microcosm of what's going on in the human condition, which is we all feel like we're bigger than what we are. We're meant for bigger things than what we are, right? You grow up in a small town, you want to go to the big city, whatever.
It's the classic.
You grow up and say like in a time in this country where you're not the right not the right color, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But and it's a great story that talks about the human condition and the human desire to be bigger than what we are. That we mean more than this. That there's more to it than just this shit day in and fucking day out. And it's a great way to show it, but it also shows so many way cool ways of like making these like baby steps. Like when obviously spoilers, duh. But when he fucking electrocutes
Spoiler time.
He fucking burns the fucking Megatronus symbol into his chest, and it's the Decepticon.
Sentinel Prime. Okay, so
that was a cool way.
Time out.
No,
I want to.
You said we weren't going to go through everything.
No, but I want to just say this real quick. That's a great point because I would like to point out that you could say I'm a hypocrite because I talk about how much I hate prequel shit, right?
It has been done to death.
And while it's its own franchise, and this is going to probably spin off its own trilogy and whatnot and whatever. But the thing is, you could argue this is a prequel, right? This is a prequel to the Optimus.
The Quintessons were fucking scary, dude.
That's the one part I'm
that
like, I don't know.
That gigantic fucking ship
Stop.
was cool. What?
You're going to derail me. I'm trying to focus.
Sorry. I just saw you going off. I wasn't really listening to you. Go ahead. Don't miss
You
it.
bastard.
I know. Go ahead.
But you could argue this is kind of a prequel, right?
Yeah.
However, I will
Definitely.
say this. Just like I've said, I'm tired of multiverses. No. I don't hate prequels. For the most part, I hate the idea of them because, there's no stakes. But when executed well, like this movie, I don't care. I'm invested. At the end of this movie, there's no spoiling this. We've already said it's spoiler time, but there's no spoiling.
Spoiler time.
There's no spoiling this. We already know by the marketing that it's going to be the story of Megatron and Optimus Prime, right? But even then, when it happens, when it fucking happens, in that moment, I'm like, fuck. Damn it, man. I was just like, because I know what's happening. It's just like when, Jake makes everything about pro wrestling.
I'm tired of saving you.
It's just like when you see, it's the heel turn, you know it's coming, and it's happening. He's like, I'm done saving you, and he drops him.
My favorite part
It's like
was
Lion King.
Here's my favorite part: is the writing was done so well.
Yes.
And the point where he actually does his heel turn,
Yeah.
the first inkling is they're having an argument about what to do about Sentinel Prime,
and he's like, I want to kill him. Yeah.
"Thanks for sipping all over it."
Sorry, I just did that to you, and you did. So anyway, they're talking about how to deal with him. Yes.
Orion Pax is like, "We gotta stop him." Yeah, you just walked all over it, man. I just. No, but he does. He says, we got to stop it. No, I want to kill him. And that was a brilliant foreshadowing, but also just a way to show that, like, they're splitting. You know, Orion Pax at that moment, you can tell he's like, okay, all right, man. You know, it's cool. Like, you know, he's a little scared of D16 because he's like,
So that's what
you're
I thought
going
was
down a
interesting.
path that I don't want to go down.
Right. And it kind of, and what makes this, what's so funny about it, and what makes Star Wars so good, and what makes,
Oh, now it's good.
this is the comparison I always draw of, like, this is a quintessential classic hero's journey, and complete with the best friend betraying him, right? But again, this is so well written, you forget. It's just like when I was talking about with Inside Out 2, when I said that it's
Nobody has seen that fucking movie.
Oh my
Stop
God,
talking about it.
Tyler, stop. My point is, you could argue it's a similar plot. Beetlejuice, you could argue Beetlejuice has a very similar plot, but that doesn't take away from.
What about Bob? Has a similar. Come on.
whatever?
Oh, dude, I
I'm
love
trying
you.
to make a
I know.
point.
Go ahead.
But that doesn't take away from the fact that it still has a ton of heart and a ton of great character moments that you could. That's the thing. You can take the most basic plots and make them change and be so great with the talent. Like Chris Hemsworth is amazing.
Yep.
Fucking
Brian Tyree Henry, I believe.
his Megatron. Yeah, when he snaps, when he says, "I want to kill him," and it's just silence, you fucking believe it.
Well, the one thing I really
it's a
like
kid's
is how
movie.
his voice changes throughout the movie. So does Chris Hemsworth's, but not to that degree, right? Bumblebee's doesn't at all, really, which is fine. Badassatron.
Oh my God.
So, dude, my favorite part of the movie was when he was like, "Tron," because it fucking goes back to that Key and Peele sketch.
Yeah.
Key and Peele sketch. Ron? Ron. Is there an Ron here? Like, it's awesome. And that is really, I say, like, it's kind of the sister sketch to the one where they do the All-Star game. And they have they just dress up in different shit.
Well,
and
and it
all the
just,
crazy
you know what
names.
else? As fun as he is in this, is what this means is like this just makes it continues the line of Bumblebee being a tragic character, because when he gets to Earth he's gonna lose his voice, so he's a chatterbox, and it's kind of a tragic story of like he can't
didn't
talk.
lose his voice. Hey, Michael Bay, who the fuck said you could take Bumblebee's voice away? Oh, it'd be kind of cool. Let me do this cook off this hooker's ass real quick, because I'm Michael Bay. It'd be really cool if one of the robots talked in nothing but radio signals, right, man? Come over here, baby. Let me snort some off your boobies. I'm Michael Bay. Yeah, explosions, yeah. Fuck you, dude. In the cartoon, Bumblebee was cool, and he had his own voice, man. And he sang like a fucking nightingale, and you took it all away, Michael Bay, with your coke-fueled adolescent dreams, you son of a bitch. Oh, and it'd be really cool? It'd be really cool Let me just snort a couple more lines and kilos of coke. You know, it'd be really cool if we made the transformations like realistic, like it gives you a headache, like it makes people just go, oh, you got to stand like 17 months on 1 second of fucking film because it's gonna be that fucking complicated. Oh man, hookers' butts are the best place to do coke. I'm Michael Bay.
For the love of Christ, what was
Ruined it. Ruined Bumblebee.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to trigger you.
At first,
Like,
I
it
was,
made that canon, I guess. So I guess
At first,
'cause
I
they do
was.
it in the other movie,
At
too.
first, I know. Fuck you guys. At first, no, not you.
know, but you
No,
looked at me
yeah.
when you said
Well,
it.
no.
Start
At
crying.
first, I was doing it because I was genuinely mad, and then I realized that you were laughing. I'm like, oh, I can take this a long way, because I like to do that stuff. It's fun.
yeah.
Sorry, everybody in the household. You know, there's people upstairs going,
So
what
yeah,
the hell?
Keegan-Michael Key is enjoyable as Bumblebee. Badass-a-tron. When he kept doing that, he's like, I also that's what I call my name.
Scarlett Johansson. I keep forgetting that.
Alita. RC. Well, she
Alita-
will become RC.
No, RC is a different character.
Right. RC is the
think-
bike, right?
She does show up in a couple of moments in the movie.
Yeah.
So does Jazz. They try to
Jazz shows up, yeah.
because
they save him- they save him.
Wheeljack shows up.
Cliff Jumper.
Cliff Jumper, Ironhide. During the transformation scene when everybody gets their cogs.
So
which is
that's
awesome.
Can I
Yeah.
Can I talk about that? So
And wait, by the way, I
Can-
had already seen it, but I still didn't know Buscemi was Starscream.
I picked
Wait,
that up right away.
I
yeah.
didn't.
Oh, and I loved how they did so again.
yellow annoying one is correct.
again, what I love about it is they take things and they explain things in the way that some of it's a little hokey, but the way that Starscream gets his voice is actually intense
Great.
and terrifying because it starts that heel turn.
Yeah.
Because that's the first time we see D16 go too far, and he's like fucking choking the life out of this
breaking
guy.
his voice
He's
box.
crushing his voice box.
Yeah.
And that's why he has the weird, like,
I
glitchy
fucking
sound.
love.
I fucking love that.
I love.
Oh,
the
they
way,
call each other instead of each other, call each other bitch. They call each other glitch.
Oh,
It's like,
okay.
don't be a glitch. I'm like, you're being a
Oh, okay.
glitch.
I
That
didn't
was
really
funny.
pick up on that, but I
They're
really
not saying
like,
bitch
hey,
'cause it's
raise your
kids'
hand if you have wave in your name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
Soundwave,
love-
Shockwave.
and Shockwave were both awesome. Shockwave's voice was a little
Amazing.
bit changed,
But it still sounds like
but,
it.
or no, Soundwave's voice was a little bit changed, but Shockwave, the gun,
Can you
was
do it?
perfect. He was just like, he was like,
Why should we listen?
Why should we listen to you? Okay, we're gonna listen to
Oh.
you. No, she punched me in my eye.
Because he has the one single.
It was just a really good.
Can you do a sound wave?
No, I don't.
do a sound?
I don't want to do the
I can't
voices.
do that voice.
I don't want to do that.
I could really only do Optimus if I'm being.
Yeah, it's fine.
And that's like the best I could do.
Yeah, really. You can
How'd you
only
think of
do
his
stuff.
voice?
You can really
I
only do
think his
Jesse Ventura.
like him imitating. Can I just say this though? We have to talk about voices, and we have to talk about the fact that the cartoons have iconic voices.
Lawrence Fishburne
I
was
think-
awesome.
Yes,
And
Lawrence.
John Hamm is great too. He's
I love John Hamm as Sentinel
great.
Prime.
I did say no more speeches, right?
I think Steve Buscemi's great as Starscream. I think Chris Hemsworth does a great job of not doing a voice at the beginning, like he's just doing his generic American voice, and the fact that once he turns into Optimus Prime, then you see him kind of emulate a little bit of Peter Cullen, go with a little bit of deeper tone, and kind of change his voice. And like you said, you notice D16's voice start to change when he starts to turn into Megatron.
I liked the fact that his was so much more dramatic of a change from the voice at the beginning.
Yeah.
Basically, what happens? Hemsworth does a great job of basically enhancing his voice. That is, it already has the qualities of leadership and heroism. You know, and
Fucking cocaine, Michael Bay.
oh yeah, man, Michael Bay. My name's Michael Bay. Where's a hooker so I can do coke off of her?
Michael Bay with the slopes and me. It's coke.
Man, you know what? I like that stuff a lot.
Hey, give me them cocaine cookies you got.
Cocaine. Wow. Anyway, I like the movie. It's a great movie.
Is that the alternate take to Eric Clapton song?
Eric Clapton is a racist fuck. Hey, before we go talking about Before you go breaking my heart.
Can we talk about the Iacon 5000, the
yes,
fucking race
but
scene?
when we stop talking about this movie, we should take a break and then we'll talk about the other movie.
All right, fuck you.
But yeah, I'm pretty much done talking about Transformers. I really liked it, but yeah.
So that was the scene when I really said this is gonna blow my kid's mind.
The fucking
because
roads.
My kid is like
the roads, dude.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. So like my kid is the stereotypical boy. Like he likes sharks and dinosaurs and cars and monster trucks and all that shit.
What can you do?
I was like that too. Like that's just a boy thing. And so I see all these vehicles line up before they transform, and I'm just like, oh my god, because I'm thinking like he's gonna freak the fuck out at that. And then when they're racing and they start transforming mid-race and shit, I'm like, he's just gonna not understand like how like he's just gonna be like, oh my god, like it's gonna blow every.
I really like to kind of go along and hold your thing because I don't want to step on your point, but I just wanted to say I really liked how with the toys, like in the 80s, you had to have like a robot and a truck, right? Or a robot and you had to have one thing and then the other. I really liked how in this, because they're on their own planet,
they don't look like our vehicles.
But they can transform into whatever.
Yeah.
They can transform in, like I can transform into a flying thing or a rolling thing.
Well,
we can't fly and we can't roll, is what D16 says, because we don't have the cog.
Right.
But
you could also transform yourself, as we see when he gets fully
into
like when
everything, into anything you want.
When he wants to execute Starscream, that's when you see the gun develop in his arm.
His basic thing is a tank.
What I was adding to that was like you even see that also when they're fighting, they also under great pressure can transform into something else or
they
create
can have an arm come out and swipe something and then turn into something else.
Yeah.
That's I really like.
But
that.
I like that he was a tank too.
Right. I mean, okay, Optimus clearly had like his truck thing, and Bumblebee had his thing, and she
had the
bike.
The bike.
Like I get that, right? But during the Iacon 5000, like everybody in the race could transform into something rolling or flying.
Right. And they kept changing.
They had to at some points. There was that one where they fly off the cliff and they had to turn into something flying.
And because this planet is metal, all the fucking roads are magnetic and develop while you're on them. And that's such a cool concept. Like, I love that.
So
and again,
I'm done talking about the movie.
Again, it's showing us something on the big screen that we haven't seen before and seeing how Cybertron would work and how in a society of metal sentient beings work.
Right.
And it's like such a cool thing. And then the cog, the thing that I love the most
was a cool little like a detail
at the end when Megatron, when he becomes Megatron, and then we have that moment, and I knew that. And again, hitting the notes in the right way when it's like fuck, and then I was like, and then as that's happening and he's falling, I know before the movie gets there that I'm like, the Matrix of leadership, he's gonna come back. Like that's like this is how he becomes the Prime, because I knew
the first time I saw it, I didn't expect that,
and because I had prior knowledge,
but it was perfect,
and I knew how the
saving you
right, and because I had prior knowledge and I knew about the Matrix of leadership and the Primes, I'm like I know he becomes Optimus Prime, so this is the moment. And then, but it's still in that moment when it happens, when he fucking gets his armor finally and he becomes the Optimus that we know. I still was in my head like, let's fucking go. Dude, and then when he lands and makes the axe, I'm like, give me that shit all day.
Dude, before any of that shit, when they first get their cogs from Alpha Trion down in the cave, and they first start morphing into their actual selves, that was pretty badass.
Yeah.
Because they were all like dirty and shit from like all their travels, and they like became shiny.
Well, that's cool as fuck, and that's the thing with this. I was kind of interested in how this was going to look with the 3D animation and then the ray tracing. Like the ray tracing, like you talked about, that's what that shininess is to it, and that's
so gorgeous.
Like that's what I kept thinking of when I was watching it and seeing the fact. And that's what blows my mind about ray tracing is that there's this technology that exists that you can create light like that and cause reflection almost like
I could reach out and
light.
fucking touch the metal and
it was believable.
I could tell what text. I could tell that this had texture, that had none. That was just shiny and smooth.
And because of that,
fucking gorgeous. Every time
I want to know if they did. I want to know if they did motion capture, because I feel like some of the fights were very believable in the motion and the animation. And I
When
wonder
he
if they
had,
had some capture to that.
When he finally had at the very end of the movie when they're just talking to each other, and he had the Matrix inside.
and it
of
glowed.
Right, but when
In
he
the
was moving
fucking chest.
different like angles, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
way it moved with, like, I was just like, oh my god, that's so fucking gorgeous.
Oh, before he dies too, he has the iconic comic cover that we were talking about, where he's like, "Hey," and he jumps up and he shoots him in the air like Superman,
which is from
pose.
the movie,
But
the original movie.
yeah, and that's another thing. It hits the right tones of the Easter eggs. I will say the Optimus Prime bit, I was like, okay, that's a little bit much.
What?
She's like, your optimism, and I was like, okay.
Before we finish, I do got to talk about how fucking
Excuse me.
cool the fucking Quintessons were, dude.
Oh, the
Like,
bugs.
so
Yeah.
gross. No, those were Sharkticons, dude.
Sorry.
No, but the big ship that showed up was like
Yeah.
there was tech to it, but it was also like a kind of a gross like a virus tech almost.
Yeah.
Like bugs and like the way that the gigantic ship was like living,
It was
but
like
it
this,
was also
well, it's like a synthetic
Ugh.
organic
And then
combination.
those little things just came out like little spiders and shit
Yeah.
and just sucked.
Oh, the Arachnid. I fucking loved her design with the camera eyeballs that are like all over her
At
head.
the very beginning, when Sentinel Prime starts trying to fuck with them, and they're all laughing, and they look at her, she's like, ah ha ha.
Yeah, ha 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 ha. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, Arachnid was cool.
And then
as
she
fuck,
turned into a
dude.
fucking drone.
Yeah,
That's cool.
she turned into a couple different things, but like,
But you know
really
the main
cool
toy
design.
is going to be a drone.
As far as I know, that's a newer character that
Yeah.
I've never heard of, but
I
it's a
wouldn't be
great
surprised,
fucking.
yeah.
I know Sentinel Prime has showed up in the Michael Bay movies.
Yeah.
Again, fuck. Oh,
No,
you know what?
But Sentinel Prime is I knew he was going to be bad.
I wonder if Hugo Weaving wants to be Megatron.
And I knew he. By the way, I knew he was going to be bad because he was bad in the Bay movies too. And I
See, I didn't even know about that. But so when I watched it first time with my brother, I don't care how long we're talking about. When I first watched it the first time with my brother, I had no idea, but you could tell right away that there was something off. Right?
you don't hire John Hamm and not make him. Not
I didn't know it was
sketchy.
John Hamm, but I knew that the character design and the writing was clearly like, hey, I clearly am fucking with you guys, because otherwise you could go up to the surface, of course, because that's weird.
I don't talk like a normal person.
Let's go upstairs.
I think. Well, I just want to say that's another thing too. Is the villain makes sense? I like the whole, and the story is great because Energon, and it goes back to and I think I gotta say, I will say this. We talked about Mattel and what they're like. We want to make 45 movies and all this stuff. I gotta say, I like what Hasbro is doing because I have in no way knowing if Transformers 1 is tied to the new Energon universe that is with Image.
Yeah, I don't know.
And Robert Kirkman, but I think they're doing a great job of bringing in what they're intending to do is a younger generation or people like me that haven't been with the franchise for a while, people like you.
Starting point.
It's a great starting point.
And as somebody who's been with it since my 12 years old, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.